Thank you, Dallin. It's been a ride so far. Like Mason was saying, like Dallin's mind works so bad, right? So he can sit down and he's like, okay, I don't really know why I'm here today. I'll sit in the chair. Don't know why I'm here today. I got nothing. I'm great. I'm going. And I ask him 2 questions, and his whole world crumbles. And then he started picking up the pieces, and he's like, I'm good to go again. Okay, I'm gonna be 10 inch early today because I'm gonna go get this done. And that's how it's gone every single week. So my whole job with Dallin and what I do with my clients, but just like holding the foundation of them as soon as they come in, to question the foundation. So I don't know about you guys, but my name is Nick, and I'm an achiever. Who else are achievers in here? Who are here to play all in? Like all in. So social media, being uncomfortable, talking to people, hugging people, giving handshakes, doing dances up here that you guys do. Sorry, I'm a little sick, so that's why I have a raspy voice. But you guys are here to play all in. How many of you know why you're here? Okay, I heard some BS answers, when you were first like, well, I want to figure out how to learn more about marketing and stuff. But you guys really know why you're here? Like, what do you want to take away from here? Do you really understand that? Like, do you understand if you want to build a marketing funnel that builds you up your branding, directs people to some sales, but you know why you want to do that? Do you? Who knows?
I think I know.
Yeah, it's a tough question. It's an existential question that's extremely important in order for you to really understand your brand identity. You have to be authentic. And if you don't know where you're going, you're not reverse engineering your actions that you're currently doing from where you're going, you're gonna get lost. You're gonna find yourself one day in the middle of nowhere, and for me, for example, like that was massive success, and be completely empty. Completely empty. I remember when I was at the height of my career, or what I tried to achieve. I remember walking into a mall one day, right? And I was recognized because I was in a lot of TV stuff, and people, would come up and ask me questions and stuff. But I remember walking into a mall and had that happen. I've never felt more alone in my entire life. Never felt more empty. Because people's perception of what it wasn't real. So it's like wearing this mask and then having this persona that you build up through perception that's not authentic. And all of a sudden you have to wear that constantly because that's what people expect of you. This is how your business is built on this foundation. But it's not authentic. It's not gonna last. We see this in Hollywood, a lot of actors, for example, right? They have to wear these masks and they're empty. Drugs, alcohol, whatever, suicide that leads to. And they have this a lot in society. And so now if you're building an online business, marketing, if you're building a persona and a brand that's not built on authenticity, it's gonna crumble. Either the business is gonna collapse or you're gonna collapse. One or the other. So this is about sustainability. And I believe in smart work over hard work any day. Okay. So what I did, and so I'll give you a short background of my story, is that since I'm an achiever, I've been running 100 miles an hour since I was a little kid, right? Achiever. Remember the first time I was in the newspaper, I was 10 years old. There was like a rowing contest at the local mall, right? And I was 10, 12, 11, 12 years old, whatever. And I beat the adults, right? $50, I was in the newspaper, like, okay, I'm gonna keep going. And so it's just achieving, more. And that is the reason why I've had to restart my life 3 times. Like, I've hit massive walls. Divorce, and the depression. I'm from Denmark originally, came here 12 years ago, so I got married to a woman from here, and we ended up getting divorced now. I have a new country, and actually it was really interesting coming here. I thought that the Western way of thinking and being, and it would be the same from being from the most liberal country in the world to coming to the most conservative state in America. A little hard time. There's a lot of identity crisis that happened, but being an achiever, you just run. You just go. And like you were sitting down and you were standing up, so you have a lot of things going on in your head, right?
Oh, too many.
It's too many. Exactly. And it's extremely hard if you don't have people around you to bounce ideas off or keep you in check, to knowing whether or not you're going in the right directions. So what we did with Dallin too is we got to set up some success criteria, some accountability. And that accountability has to come from in here. It has to be based on feeling. You have to be able to tap in. to how things make you feel, because that's what you're accountable towards. It's not extrinsic, it's intrinsic. If you can't control your intrinsic environment first, you can't never control the extrinsic, which means that when we get into a place and we talk about what is success, a lot of people, I don't know if you guys, anybody watched the documentary on Netflix called Happy?
What's it called?
Happy? Okay, it opens, I'm really good friends with the director who made that. I was out in Malibu when him and Xander were editing it. And I remember watching through the footage, and but they open up and they do all this interview with people in New York that go on the street, and I say, okay, so what do you think happiness is? What do you think everybody's answer is? Money.
Money.
Money, status, fame. And anybody in here been famous or has status before or have it right now? Okay, most of you know if it's not built the right foundation, that's bullshit. Like, it's the opposite of success. It's the opposite of happiness. So what the world tells us what happiness and success is, and we achieve it and we get there. When we get there, we don't like the way we feel. Where do we go? What do we do? Who do we start looking up to? How do we start catering our actions towards, okay, well, I gotta get to know myself. It's a tough one, right? Have any of you in here experienced that before? Got into a place and then didn't like it. Yeah, tell us, well, what happened?
Well, I would say in corporate world, I always believed I couldn't achieve whatever level it was, and then I started achieving it so quickly, and I'm like, this is so great, and then I finally got to a position where I was making way more than I ever thought I would, and I had way more direct reports than I ever thought I could achieve, and I was just kind of like, I don't really like this. I have anxiety every single morning. Like, I'd rather go back to trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay my bills instead of, like, what am I gonna do with this extra paycheck or whatever it might be. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
It's true, and that's a really good example. So in my work, I work with very, very high net worth individuals as part of my business. And the more money people have, the more broken they are most of the time because of how much they've sacrificed, right? So a lot of that requires you working 100, 120 hours a week, which means that there's a lot of things that actually makes you happy as a person that's gone. And that's a problem. So that was one of my problems. We have a joint family. I'm divorced, like I said. I got married here back in November, and I got 2 bonus kids, and so I have 4 kids now total. Never thought that was gonna happen. I thought there was only the Mormons that did that. 2 was my max, but I got 2 bonus ones, and it's been great. But like I said, I'm from Denmark. I started really early being an achiever. I was a department director in Northern Europe, the largest power and gas company, and by the time I was 23. Did great, met a girl, came to America, started my corporate nightmare here in America. I remember first we just sat and slipped over my contract, negotiated, and then I read it and I'm like, 2 weeks of vacation. I started laughing. It was a real mistake. Because I had 12 weeks of vacation.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay. Anyway, so that was kind of a nightmare. I'm like, okay, I'm completely unhappy here. I was a national sales manager for a company down in South Jordan. I don't like it. By the time, celebrated hump day and TGIF, I'm like, this is not life for me. I cannot do this. Complete disconnect. And so, okay, I gotta do something else. So I'm like, okay, fitness, I'm really good at. I used to be extremely overweight, fitness saved my life. I know I'm depressed, kind of got myself aligned with myself again. So I'm like, all right, well, personal training, it's great. So I started as a personal trainer. Within 2 months, I was back into corporate environment as a paid manager. That was money, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back into it. I didn't like that anymore, so I quit that, and then I started my own personal training business. And as I was going and getting divorced and learning all these things, I had to restart my life so many times and achieving success. Then I started bodybuilding and fitness modeling. I was really good at that. I was a professional bodybuilder. I took second in the world championships out in Ohio. Something called Arnold Amateur, representing Denmark, and it was incredible for about 5 minutes after getting off stage. And then I looked at all the hours I spent in the gym and everything I've done to get there. Like, shit, I don't have a relationship with my wife anymore. They're in counseling, and I don't really know my children. I have 2 at a time. I gotta get back to it. So back there trying to fix things again, but fitness modeling took off. I was the front model for Nordic Track and Proform, and that was amazing. And then I started coaching other people in how to be bodybuilders. I had a massive team that I was helping, and I had so many people, and like it was the top of everything I ever wanted, everything I set out to do, you know. I don't know if you guys tried in your mirror and like manifesting your dreams and all that stuff. Everything that's on there, I had it. I had it all. I had nothing though. Because it wasn't authentic. Like I wasn't being the person I needed to be. I wasn't bringing to the table actually what gets me up, gets me out of bed, what keeps me up at night sometimes, because I have a passion. And I wasn't digging deep enough into that passion and bringing that out into a business. So what I did is I developed a system from everything that I've learned, and I bring it into performance coaching. So what I do is that I take people just like Alan, and probably a lot of you guys are in here too, and I help, you know, like what Alan said with his brain, is I help say, okay, you have all these ideas, how do we build systems around that to make sure you can be successful and happy and create synergy? And you don't burn down what you've already built. How do we do that? Well, there's a lot of ways to do that. And so in performance coaching is that we take somebody, and this is a lot of times what I do is that, and I will take you guys through part of this tomorrow as well, just for a couple minutes. We start with a visualization. To start diving into your self-awareness and your self-compassion. Really figuring out who you are. How much awareness do you really have about who you are? I start taking away all victim mentality. Everything. Because like I tell all my clients is that you're accountable to how life responds to you. You're never a victim. No matter what happened in your life, no matter what, you're never a victim of that unless you choose it.
It's so frustrating. Because you go in there and you'll just be saying something that's like, nah, I don't think that's true. I'm like, well dang it, it's not.
But they did it to me. They did it to me, or my ex-wife, or my ex-husband, or my last company, or my boss. No, you're choosing everything in life, which means you have got to go into it with a mindset of ownership. What can I own in every single situation? It doesn't mean that something can't happen to you. You are actually a victim of something. But continuing it afterwards, it's all up here. You're still going to be living in that victimhood mentality, or you're going to be an achiever that's going to have a mindset of ownership. Ownership is the only pathway to true happiness and success. Only way. Honesty and transparency. How many of you guys in here, raise your hands, if you have an environment at home or with a counselor or a coach or somewhere where you can be completely honest and transparent about everything in your life? Awesome. Do you utilize it on a daily, weekly basis?
A little too much.
Good. It's important. It's important to have that space and show up to somebody that you know is just going to respect you, but also confront you when you are spitting bullshit, when you're straying away off path. Another thing that's important is to deep dive into the why, just like I did with that one. It's so funny. It's so funny. When you seen his face, it was like, you know, bodybuilding, I'm gonna get jacked. And I asked him why. It was like his whole life just. it was incredible to watch. And I was not surprised he called me afterwards. And I was a little bit scared whether or not he was completely lost. But deep diving into the why you're doing what you're doing. Question everything. Every action you have in your life, question why. What's your intention? What's the intention and purpose behind every action I take? Whether or not that's accumulating into something that works for my future self. An exercise to do with people is that try to close your eyes and think about yourself when you're 90, you're about to take your last breath. What would be that person, that future self version of yourself, what would they tell you to change right here, right now, so you wouldn't have regret that? That's the only thing you're accountable to. You're gonna die. It's gonna happen. What legacy are you gonna leave? What do we wish you had changed? I've had 3 clients that lost children to suicide. What do they wish they changed? Work less? More focus on the individual? I don't know, right? It's different for everyone, what they wish they would have done. But there's a way for you to tap in right here, right now, into that future self. I start honoring that future person. Start changing right here, right now, what you have regret about. If it's dead relationships, whatever kind of fear you might have about something that's holding you back. That breakthrough can happen right here, right now, based on the questions you ask yourself, and the accountability you choose to have. And what down and talking about is the flow and alignment. I mean, have any of you guys know what flow is? Like when you have that feeling that everything is just going your way in life. Anybody felt that before? Like, yeah, man, life's good, right? But there's a lot of components that go into creating that flow. It doesn't just happen magically, you know? It's not just something that if you're religious you can pray for, right? Or that you can go out and create massive action and all of a sudden it happens. It has to be smart work. You have to understand your inner environment. You have to understand your spirituality, your health, your true health. Not because you want a six-pack, but what's your success criteria within being healthy? Like how are you measuring things? And once you reach a certain level of balance in your life, where you understand these key indicators, then you also understand that you are completely accountable if you're compromising those. And if you're out of your flow, you can own it, because you know exactly why. But if you don't audit that, you don't understand it, you don't build it, you don't create it, you will never create flow. There will always be resistance. It's always going to be harder and harder and harder. You're going to run faster and faster and faster. And you're going to crash. So, a lot of times when I get people in, they have certain apprehensions because they want to be successful, and they've been told that the only way to do that is to work hard. Don't sleep. Sleep 4 hours a night, you're a badass. You work 100 hours a week, you are amazing. Right? We worship that here in America. People who are hard workers. Yeah, we don't last very long. People who work 100 hours a week and sleep 4 hours a night, they don't do that for so long. Physiologically, your body can't keep up with that. You can't be creative anymore. There's a lot of things you can't do anymore. So if you study the top people in the world, the billionaires in the world, they get their sleep, 8 to 10 hours sleep every single night. They have routines that they build a life around so they can bring their full capacity into every present moment, every single day, so they can be their best self. They work for their future self. One of the things that I started with, where I said after my depression, was that I gotta get up in the morning and I gotta make my bed. Because why is that important? Well, I know that every time I come home from work and I walk into my bedroom and it's messy, I feel like shit. I don't want to be in there. But every time I come home from work and everything's organized, I feel good. So in the morning I can, fight myself and spend 30 seconds doing it, and then for my future self, do something for my future self. It's little things like that showing up for yourself that create that inner alignment that is so important for you in this business. Authenticity. But you cannot create authenticity if you don't know who you are and what makes you you. And this is part of the achiever's paradox. The top one is the norm when I get people coming in who are lost, who don't feel good, who are willing to give away $100 million that they've just sold their company for, which happened here 3 months ago with one of my clients, and just to get back like that feeling of belonging, just to get to feel like they're connected again. And that top one is the reason for why. They're chasing certain things that are extrinsic outside of themselves. They've been told it's going to bring you things, but they're stuck. And since you're with an achiever's mindset, then you ignore. And then the feeling of being torn. How many of you in here have worked a lot, like let's say 100 hours a week for a certain period of time, 50 hours a week? Okay. Were you ever torn between your passion or your family or something? I don't know if I should keep doing this. I got this over here and I'm important, but I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. Have you guys ever felt that? Yeah. So that feeling of being torn, right? Because I know I got to do something about my career, about my job, about making money, about providing, whatever that is. But I also really feel like I want to go fishing. I also want to spend time with my son. I also know I got to do some of my hobbies. I want to go camping, but I'm not going to fit it in. And there's a lot of awareness issues. You're also often being told you're selfish, arrogant, and better than everybody else, right? That's a perception that's created as well for an achiever. A lot of that is because we're in our heads. We're always thinking. Wheels are always turning. And so a lot of times it can be really hard to create friendships, long-lasting relationships because of that. Because we're disconnected from the people around us, their perception. This is where authenticity is important too, communication. I do a lot of marriage counseling in this space. I have a lot of people that start as entrepreneurs and they bring in their spouse and we each other. Like I have this one guy, I'll give an example, we just sold to a company for $100 million. Like I brought in the wife, and she's like, I don't want you at home. And he's like, what? It's like, yeah, go work. It's like, I don't know who you are, the kids don't know you. How are we gonna integrate you into bedtime routines and making food and you parenting and stuff? Like, you're completely opposite from me, I don't want you at home, go work. I'm like, all right, well, I guess we'll start there. And so we gotta figure out communication, we gotta get to know each other again. And so there's just a lot of things that you can't compromise when you are building a business or you have built a business. It's about taking time off of those important things that you were working for, that you were telling yourself that I'm working for my family, well then you gotta make them a priority. And the sacrifice aspect of it is interesting too, because a lot of the word sacrifice comes the notion too that you are sacrificing something for someone else. Again, ownership, you're not sacrificing anything. Okay, a lot of time everything we're doing is basically come from a selfish reason. So just knowing you're choosing it is always important. And then the bottom one, what legacy do I want to leave? I think about that every single day. I'm accountable towards that. Part of this is also like, this is a new concept that I've been working a lot of. I've been studying this for the last 2 years. I've read over 200 books on these two topics out here, success and happiness, because when I've tried to enter into this, like they seem like they're complete opposites, right? And when you're chasing after one, then you leave the other one behind. And so I've been really trying to figure this out. And there is a way to create synergy between the two. A synergetic effect where you have your own intrinsic perception of what success is to you, and that also makes you happy. And the process that I go through in my coaching is that. How do we take success and happiness and create synergy between the two? A lot of it that's up here too is it comes down to goal setting. So authentic goal setting is extremely important. How many of you in here review your goals on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? Okay, about half the room. How many of you in here set goals on a yearly basis? Okay, how many of you take these goals and break it down into daily, weekly habits and check mark off and keep yourself accountable towards that? Okay, awesome. That's a good start. Now the next step for you guys is to make sure that you audit all these goals and behaviors to make sure they're actually catapulting you towards where you want to go and don't take it away from there. But owning these goals and making sure that you line them up with your priorities in life. What are your priorities? One of the things I do every year with my clients is that we go through a goal setting sheet and we say, okay, what are your top two? Just push it back here. There we go. There we go. What are your top two areas in life you want to focus on this year? So the 6 pillars of life that I've come up with that I work with my clients in are relationships, health, career, finance, personal growth, and spirituality. You can't focus on all at once. When I get people in, I have them score this from 0 to 10. The 0 being the worst you can imagine, and 10 being utopia, like incredible, right? And anything that's below 5, we do spring cleaning in. We focus on that to get you up to a 5 everywhere. And then we start taking, okay, what capacity do we have left and what time do we have left to invest into other areas? So, okay, well, I want to advance in my career. Okay, well, how much time are you willing to invest into that if that's your top priority? And are you willing to make that a priority over your health and relationships? Most people say, yay, yeah, of course. Well, I'll compromise that. You know, my sleep and my eating, you know, I'm working out, I'm gonna compromise that because I gotta work hard. And then you end up getting sick. You're not creative anymore. Okay, so you're still willing to compromise that? No, okay, so let's figure out some minimum behaviors you need to have in each area to keep you afloat. And respect that by creating a system. So that way you know on a weekly basis, you know exactly what you have to do as a minimum, your needs over your wants. And really figuring out, okay, well, what are my needs and what are my wants in life, and where am I going? And the system that I coach from has broken that all down and helps you. And for some people, it takes 2 years to rebuild. For some people, it takes 6 months. It all depends on how lost you are, how unhealthy you are, how bad of a relationship you have around you. All right. But it all really comes down to inner alignment. So what we do is that this is part of like weekly homework that Alan has been doing too, is that we take behaviors in every area and figure out which ones do you actually do you want to commit to this week of doing, and then we audit them. Doesn't mean that, okay, well, I'm going to work out 3 times a week, I'm going to check my budget once a week, and you start doing it, and it just feels redundant, and it doesn't really add up to anything. Okay, we either change frequency or we put in something new. As we go through this process of figuring out, okay, what's actually working in your life, that's actually adding to your life, then all of a sudden, after a couple of months, we'll come up with a whole system. Oh, okay, so we know we gotta meditate for 10 minutes, 3 times a week. That's it. You don't need any more than that. Or once a week, or you gotta do it every day. We know we got to check our budget once a month to make sure you're calm about your finances. Or you hire a CFO. Like, there's all these things that we audit and go through these behaviors. And so as you're going through the seminar here, over the next 3 days, I would advise you, as you're building an authentic funnel and you're deep diving into your branding, make sure that you understand your priorities, where you're going. You don't compromise these things as you're building it. Because I interview Lindsay for my podcast that I do, and one of the things that makes Lindsay's branding super powerful is her authenticity. Like, she shows all her flaws, right? And she shares it because she has awareness about it. And she tries to figure it out. She tries to code on something and she shares it, and there's knowledge. Like, that's what people are drawn to nowadays online. Not perfectionism, but the people who actually want to invest into getting better, the audience that you guys are seeking, that actually has buying power. Authenticity is key. So how do you create authenticity within your business and within your branding? And a lot of it comes down to your inner work, mastering your inner universe first, so you can bring out the authenticity. So that would be my biggest thing for you guys, is to start looking at that. Make sure you check mark it off, and if there's anything you need to change, make sure you don't just stop something. Make sure you create transition. I burned down hundreds of thousands of dollars I built up just because I wanted to run away from it. Social media platforms with thousands of followers because I didn't want to do it anymore. It's not smart work. That's just fear and escape. And that's the awareness is important. So, anyway, so that's a little bit about like who I am and the systems and stuff, and my Dallin wanted me here today, and I'll be here the next couple of days as well. And if you guys have any questions about this at all, then please come and talk to me. And I'm here to learn too. Like I like you, I remember your name from St. George?
Oh, yeah, Carolyn.
Carolyn, okay. I've hired out all my marketing too. I run all my own Google stuff, but like building funnels, I always hire people, and I really want to learn how to do this stuff too. I'll still hire it out, but I want to understand it, so. Okay, well, thank you guys. I don't know